Southern hospitality. We need to make one very, very, very important announcement. Please, please, everyone, please keep your mask on so we can stay with the governor's mandate about wearing a mask on indoors. Please, please keep your mask on at all times while you're still in the building. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, Gulf Southern University Agricultural and Mechanical College annual commencement ceremony. Robert Renee, your commencement announcement. The university wants you to remember that this is a very solemn and dignified occasion. Please cooperate with us by turning off all electronic devices, including your mobile telephone, which interferes with the public address system. Also, refrain from using noisemakers and making loud outbursts. Those of you that are seated on the floor, even if you need to take a photograph, you must stay in your seat. Please stay in your seat and enjoy this great Southern hospitality from your Jaguar Nation. And once again, thank you and enjoy this commencement ceremony.
Two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2. Yeah, for sure. Fade it out.
I proudly present to you the president in the Southern University system and the chancellor of the Southern University Agricultural and College at Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Dr. Ray Delta. Good morning. Tell you, I'm never pleased to be inside the FG Clark Activity Center. We are indeed very pleased to welcome you to 2021 Commencement exercises for Southern University and Indian College. Minister of Families this morning is Reverend C. Robertson, pastor of Conferring, United Methodist Church here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, who will deliver the invocation. The invitation from Stocks People Banner, conviction, insane. So if you would please stand with me now and remain standing for the invitation to Stocks People Banner. Yes, insane. God, the Creator, the same God that woke us up this morning, the same God that has with us so many long nights and so many hardships that we endured. God, let the struggles be made known, and God, placed as the devil under our feet. God, we ask that you stand with us in celebration and thanksgiving. God, we call upon your name at this moment, at this hour, and this time, as we enter into this new day and this new dawning of your spirit all over this place. God, we call upon your name to bless and consecrate this faith, that we, under the auspices of your kingdom and with calm and renewed hearts, express your love and your spirit dwelling among us. Not just as we feel excited for this moment, but as we reflectively and contemplatively give a moment of just our joy back to you, as we have sacrificed so much. God, as we invoke the words of one of your elders, it's been a long time coming. Change is coming. Bless them. Please be seated. Again to the 2021 Southern University Summer Commencement. Today is that day which you've all been waiting for. And so first and foremost, allow me this occasion to congratulate each one of you for a job well done. And I think it's appropriate that you give yourselves a round of applause. You absolutely deserve it.
During the facilitation of these commencement exercises, the university benefits from the presence of many who support and advocate for her interests. And as such, I would like to ask all current and former elected officials to please stand and be recognized. Let's give them a round of applause. While I acknowledge them, I certainly would like to thank them for their service and dedication to this university and to our local and state governments. And speaking of individuals who give unselfishly to Southern University, I further would like to acknowledge the honorable members of the Southern University Board of Supervisors. I'm speaking of a 16-member board that's led by its chairman, the Honorable Chair Maureen Rutledge, and the vice chair, the Honorable Vice Chair, Mr. Edwin Shorty. Today, we have the great pleasure of having with us one of those 16 members. He happened to be the student representative for the entirety of the Southern University system. And interestingly enough, the SGA president of Southern University and A&M College, and I speak of the honorable member, Mr. Kevin Taylor Jarrell. Would you please stand? Let's give Kevin a round of applause. I can't tell you how proud I am of him. Just a couple of weeks ago, he was selected amongst few to be a White House Scholar. And so Kevin will be representing Southern University in Washington, D.C. And certainly I have every anticipation that he will represent us well. Give him another round of applause. It is indeed my pleasure today to introduce Representative Edward Ted James II, the honorable member of the Louisiana House of Representatives and chairman of the Louisiana Legislative Black Caucus, who will serve as our speaker for this commencement exercise. I can tell you firsthand that State Representative Edward Ted James' passion for leadership is driven by a deeply held desire to impact the lives of others while transforming the community he simply calls home. This Baton Rouge native was taught at an early age the value of service, the power of community, the importance of a quality education, and the principles of social justice. Upon being admitted to the Louisiana bar, Ted began his career working for the administration of Governor Kathleen Blanco. As the governor's policy advisor on housing and community development, Ted assisted in securing a $25 million investment in Louisiana Housing and Trust Fund. He later served on the Louisiana Commission on Housing and Community Development, where he continued his dedication to establish affordable housing solutions for the people of Louisiana. Upon completing his service in the Blanco administration, Ted worked as a staff attorney with the Louisiana House of Representatives. His tenure as a staff attorney helped to provide him with the unique perspective and insight he uses today in his service as an elected member of that storied body. In 2009, he was appointed to serve as special counsel to the Secretary of the Louisiana Department of Revenue, where he was charged with developing the department's legislative strategy. This leadership led to an appointment by Louisiana Governor Bobby Jindal to serve on the Louisiana Advisory Committee on Intergovernmental Relations, where he effectively managed relationships with other governmental agencies to further the well-being of the people of Louisiana. In November 2011, Ted was elected to serve as Louisiana State Representative for District 101. Through his hard work and dedication, State Representative James immediately emerged as a leader in the Louisiana legislature. In 2016, he committed himself to recovery efforts following the historic Baton Rouge flood, and today currently serves as chairman of the Administration of Criminal Justice Committee. Representative James earned a Bachelor of Science degree in accounting from the Southern University and A&M College, and went on to obtain his Juris Doctorate with honors from the University Law Center, where he also served as the president of the Student Bar Association. He is a member of the Beacon Light Baptist Church and Kappa Psi Fraternity Incorporated. He is further a proud father of his daughter, Harper Ryan James. Please join me in extending a warm welcome and round of applause for our speaker of the hour, Representative Edward Ted James II.
Good morning. Good morning. Y'all must have been up at Dead Poets all night. Y'all still sleepy. To our fearless leader, Dr. Belton, thank you for that wonderful introduction. And Dr. Belton, I also want to thank you for your tireless leadership that you provided to my beloved alma mater. And I thank you for your leadership, and I wish you well. I know you recently announced your retirement, and I know that it is well deserved. The members of the board, the faculty and staff here at Southern University, thank you not just for inviting me here today, but as Dr. Belton said, I am a graduate of this institution. So I thank you for molding me, because there would be no Representative James, there would be no Chairman James if Southern University didn't nurture and care for me. And to you, the graduates, congratulations. Your class, you could clap. Student marshal, you could clap. Graduates, I want you to understand that today is something that is much bigger than each and every one of you individually. As a class, you guys have seen times that none of us saw. Your education was upended by a pandemic, and many of you were forced to go back home in quarantine, go back to your parents' rules, the house that you were excited to leave. When you made it here, you were forced to quarantine with probably the roommate that you really liked when you first started to be his or her roommate, but they started to get on your nerves a lot during quarantine. You were probably forced to quarantine with your roommate's boyfriend or girlfriend, a line sister, a line brother, who ate all the food but never brought anything. You've endured midterms and homecomings. You played in the band, late nights studying, late nights saying that you were studying. You've endured your first apartment, your first car. And many of you, I know it, some of you personally, that first car probably got towed on this campus a couple times. And many of you probably had to wait and pay those bills today, this morning, before you walked out looking as nice as you do today. And graduates, I will tell you that all of those titles that Dr. Belton read to you, the only title that is important as I stand before you today is a graduate of this fine institution. And you may not recognize how important it is today, but I know that because I graduated from this institution, that I enjoy the shade of a tree that I did not plant. And every day when I walk into the legislature, it is my duty to not only protect that shade, but to protect that tree and the people that made sure that those roots are strong enough from 1880 to 2021. And as I sit here, I'm reminded of my Southern story. And let me tell you something, John, one of your fellow graduates, my fraternity brother, and he works with me, when he heard that I was speaking, he called me, he said, look, don't be up there all day. And as I sat down to think about what I was going to say to you, I couldn't even remember who was my commencement speaker in 2003, nor could I remember what they said to me. So I told John, and I will tell you that I promise to treat you like Lori Harvey has treated her past boyfriend. And for those of you who may be, you have to scroll down a little further to find your birth year, and you may not know Lori Harvey, I will treat you like Elizabeth Taylor treated all of her former husbands. Like Liz and Lori, I don't plan to keep you long. But I do plan to talk to you about some very important things. That was the punchline. I was wondering if that was going to fall flat or not. Some people behind me caught it. I don't know if they were clapping for Liz or Lori. The graduates, before we get started, I want you to turn around and look up and thank all of your family members who are here. Your grandmother, your parents, your parents, your children. All right, y'all, that's enough. Families, I want to congratulate you because today is also a moment where you can celebrate your sacrifices and your dedication to each and every one of the graduates that you are here to support today. And family, I hope that today marks a pay raise for you. As your graduate not only exits Southern University, but exits your pockets. Graduates, when I walked and I saw you standing in those lines, I'm reminded of all the long lines that I stood in at Southern University. The long lines in multiple buildings, to go back to another building to stand in another long line. And not in 1999, Dr. Belton, but in the fall of '76, when my parents are sitting right there. And my mom was I think a sophomore or freshman trying to register, and my dad was working behind that blue gate. He was a law student working for the registrar's office. So my mom, after standing in that long line, made it to his window. She paid her fee and she left. But my dad's eyes were fixed on what he has said over the years as those hip hugging bell bottoms she had on. And my mom wasn't really paying attention to him. But then her roommate walked up and my dad told her, hey, your friend forgot something. And my mom goes back and she said, what did I forget? My dad said, you forgot my phone number. And then Dr. Belton, my dad is a Kappa man too. Dr. Belton, my dad asked my mom, do you have a boyfriend? And she said, no. And Noops, my dad said, well, you got one now. So what my mom didn't know and what you didn't know when you walked in this room for your commencement exercise, you about to get chose. That's the message for today. You are about to get chose. And I know many of you thought that you were coming here for some type of celebratory commencement speech. They do that at other schools. Congratulations, you're proud, all of you are great. That's about all I got to say. Because if I was at another school, I would say congratulations and take my seat. But I'm not at another school. I'm at my school. I'm at the Southern University. So you have deserved more than a congratulations. Like I said, you're about to get chose. And at any other school in the country, you will walk across this stage and be handed a diploma. It's not what you're getting today. You will be handed an invitation to a draft. Not the type of draft that we watched last week, the NBA draft, but a draft that many of the elders in this room remember. You are about to be drafted into a battle. And with this invitation, it's not like other invitations. There's no small envelope in it where you could send in your regrets. Because while you have the choice of which battle to fight, you do not get to choose not to fight. Because I told you, you are about to inherit something that's much bigger than yourself. See, what that bio did not tell you was that I entered this college as an honors college scholar with a scholarship. I didn't graduate with one. The bio told you that I'm a member of Kappa Alpha Psi, but not that I was too concerned with Pretty Wednesday that I almost squandered my opportunity to graduate on a Friday. And the bio told you all these wonderful things, but not all of the setbacks and pitfalls. And as you sit here today as a graduate, I want you not to remember this day, but I want you to remember all of those pitfalls. Because that's what defines you, not today. Those graduates, somebody listening to me, thank you, ma'am. Those are the moments that define you. And for me, I call it my I'm so glad moment. When the words of that song were more than just lyrics to me. And the professor that I know is smiling down on me today, Professor Darby was my accounting professor, and I had her class on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 1 o'clock. Routinely on the Wednesday, I would show up to that class at about 1:15, 1:20. Now, for those of you graduates, I don't have to tell you where I was that led me to get to Ms. Darby's class routinely late on a Wednesday. And it's a very long walk from the Smith Brown Memorial Union to TT Lane, right? And one day, Ms. Darby was just extremely upset that I routinely strolled into her class at 1:15. And Ms. Darby, she knew that I wanted to go to law school, and like Ms. Darby was a CPA and a lawyer, and she knew that that's what I wanted to do. And one day she called me out, she said, "Don't take your seat. You look nice." It was a Wednesday, nope, so you know I look nice. She said, "But you are too busy concerned about the pretty boy model of Kappa and not the achievement model of Kappa." And I strolled out and I left. One of the benefits that I quickly learned about college was that you could drop a class. So I walked out ready to drop her class, and then I learned that Ms. Darby was the only person that taught that class. And that class was absolutely needed for me to graduate. And then life came full circle because of Ms. Darby called me to ask me to teach class. And see, at any other school in the country, Ms. Darby would have let me come in and I probably would have just received an F. But then when I had to humble myself to go and talk to Ms. Darby, I was one of those students. I was kind of flipped like I am at the legislature, Dr. Belton. And I told her, "You being unfair, Professor Darby. I pay your tuition, I pay your salary." I was one of those type of students. And I said, "You need to be fair to me." Ms. Darby said, "Ted, sit down." She said, "Take a look at that syllabus." So I took a look at it and she said, "How many times can you be late before that amounts to an absence?" I said, 2. She said, "How many times have you been late?" I said, "I don't remember." She said, "What does it say about my policy when you miss a midterm?" I said, "You can't make it up." Then she asked me, "What happened to the midterm that you missed?" I said, "I made it up." So she said, "Do you want me to be fair and give you what you earn? Or do you want me to be honest with you?" I said, "Ms. Darby, I'll take that honesty for 200, please." And today, because of Ms. Darby, and yes, my parents, I love them to death, they taught me the benefit of an education, but it was Ms. Darby, this institution that humbled me, that made me recognize that I was about to squander. And to you, the graduates, I don't know what your "I'm so glad" moment was. I don't know who your Ms. Darby was. But as I look at each and every one of you, I know that you had one. And I know that you had someone at this institution that pushed you when you didn't want to move, that saw potential in you that you did not see. And I hope that you never forget that moment. You never forget that individual, and you always vow to protect not only the shade, but the roots of that tree. See, if I was at another school, I'd take my seat. And I would have you sit here and believe that life and school are the same. But see, in school, you get a lesson after lesson after lesson to prepare for a test. And because you're sitting here, you must have done pretty well on those tests. But in life, it's the exact opposite. In life, the test comes first. And then there's a lesson to be learned. And sadly, some of life's tests are designed for you not to pass. They're designed for you to fail. Because the lesson is, how did you rebound? Did you run off after Miss Darby confronted you and change your major? Or did you double down and make your parents proud? When their relationship failed, somebody looking up. When their relationship failed, did you say, oh, I'm never gonna love again? Or did you just, and decide to block your blessings? Or did you just block that fool and move on? When you studied and studied and studied for the LSAT, you just hadn't made it to that 145. Do you stop, or do you knuckle down and study and prepare for law school? If I was at another school, I know the answer to those questions, but I'm not. And like I told you, this is, it's a celebration, but it's also a reminder of the duty that each and every one of you have as a graduate of the university. Because some of those life lessons, the GPA that you have, the medallion that you're wearing, the colors that you're wearing, even the crimson and cream ones, don't matter once you exit these doors. And it's not the grades that you accumulated here, but the lessons you learn when life kicked you down. See, if I was at another school, Dr. Belton, I wouldn't remind the students of the battles awaiting them. The first thing I need you to do to be able to fight those battles, you cannot fight those battles if you are not alive. You're all wearing your masks today. And I want to remind you, you may be tired of those masks, but COVID is not tired of us. I'm not telling you something that I read or something that I heard. If you know me, you know what happened with my battle with COVID. You know I spent 5 days in the hospital. You know I worried if I was going to ever see my child again. And right now, you have a huge responsibility. And if you're not going to do it for your family, do it for mine. So Representative James was sent here to tell you, go and get the vaccine. Go and protect yourselves. Because I know, and I'm about to make some of y'all mad, I know some of y'all been seeing CMOS all over the internet. Because somebody told you it's going to help you lose 20 pounds. So you've been taking CMOS that you bought from the beauty shop to lose 20 pounds, but won't take a vaccine so you won't lose your life. Fellas, I'm not going to let you escape. Moms, y'all might need to close your eyes and ears real quick. Because fellas, I know some of y'all going to the corner store buying those little gold packs, thinking that it's going to prolong your performance, but won't take a vaccine that will prolong your life. I see a couple people laughing. Some of y'all mad because I told the secret, I gave away the cheat code. The second pandemic is the loss of too many of our lives at the hands of police officers. And yes, we are doing a lot of work at the Capitol. Graduates of this institution, Senator Fields, Representative Jordan, two-time graduates of Southern University. We passed a lot of laws. I would be lying to you if I told you that anything that we did at the Capitol can change hate, malice that's in someone's heart. But brothers, we have a responsibility to go home. We have a responsibility to be remembered as a graduate, as a man, as a father, and not a hashtag. And there are moments that I know test you as a man. I've been through them. As a member of the legislature, I've had to humble myself. I would much rather you be embarrassed by a degrading experience than to be remembered by a deadly one. If you have graduated in criminal justice, do us a favor and get into the law enforcement profession. If you are on your way to law school, do us a favor and become a prosecutor or a judge. Because there are times when the laws that we pass at the Capitol don't matter. And there are times when we need warriors. We need Southern warriors to fight those battles. Today, we have a graduate of an historically Black college serving as our vice president. That happened not because she was prepared, certainly not because she went to Howard. It happens because you, young people, Black and brown people all across the world voted in record numbers. And what we celebrated and what we quickly learned in early 2021, that there are people that aren't so excited about the fact that the vice president graduated from an HBCU. So there are laws being passed all across the country to make it harder for you to vote. Not in this state, because this state has more Southern University graduates in the state capital. So we've been able to fight those things. But some of the states where you left and some of the states where you're going have made it harder for you to vote. And I know I'm probably boring you guys right now, but let me tell you something. If your vote wasn't so important, people wouldn't be working so hard to take it from you. And I'm gonna pick on Lori Harvey one more time. If you could name 5 of her former boyfriends, but you can't name 5 Louisiana congressmen, you're in trouble. If you know all the hashtags, all the bodies that have dropped, but you don't know the prosecutors that didn't press charges, we all in trouble. Because we do a very good job of telling you, go out and get registered to vote. There's a responsibility to get involved. There's a responsibility to make sure that we are doing the right thing. Before I take my seat, I want to remind you of not just the importance of this institution, but the importance of HBCUs all across the world. Because there are people out there that are going to question you. They're going to question your education. They're going to question your place when they learn that you graduated from an HBCU. And some of you might get mad. I used to get mad, but now I use it as motivation. Dr. Belton told you that I worked in the legislature. When I applied for that job, the lady who I interviewed with, she said, "Oh, you went to Southern Law School?" I said, "Yes, ma'am, I did." She was like, "Did you pass the bar the first time?" I looked at her dead and I said, "Ma'am, I didn't know you could take it more than once." You see, Dr. Belton, sometimes Representative James wants to be like Michelle Obama when they go low, go high, but sometimes Ted, he's still working on me. So sometimes when they go low, I go petty. And I could have easily just responded, "Oh, yes, ma'am, I graduated and took the bar and passed it the first time," but she needed to be taught a lesson. You see, graduates, and as you walk out of here, I want to remind you of a quote that I use, that Representative James used. Benjamin E. Mays said, "In all that you do, and living day or night." You see, I walk around with that. Representative James walks around with that. But sometimes Ted has to refer to another American lyricist who goes by the name of Jermaine Lamar Cole. Many of you may have heard of him. You may call him J. Cole. And one of J. Cole's latest pieces of art, I think it's called Applying Pressure. Many of you have heard it before. J. Cole, I'm sure that song was inspired by Benjamin E. Mays and a little bit by our former First Lady. But J. Cole talks about how to respond to haters, John. I know you know the song. And family, I cannot lie to you. There are times when I know that my mom would want me to be Benjamin E. Mays. But sometimes I roll up to the Capitol as J. Cole. J. Cole says that people have the audacity to act like you don't do it like you do it. So Cole said that's why you got to come through. Y'all know the lyrics. You got to come through and just do it at the level that you do it in their face. And you have to remind them. So the haters will say, man, he did it like I always want to do it, and I never be able to do it like that. So graduates, you got to decide when it's time to be Mays, when it's time to be Michelle Obama, and it's time to have a little J. Cole in. And that's the beauty of this institution because it teaches you how to be all three. For any situation, I'm not gonna take my seat, leave you thinking that success is going to be straight. Road to success, you are sure some loops called confusion, some flats called setbacks, some speed lights called enemies. The class of 2021, class of 2020, family and friends, I assure you, I promise you today that you are going to make it down that road to success because you are traveling with a spare called determination, an engine called perseverance, insurance called faith, and a driver from Southern University. God bless you.
Oh, that was powerful. Let's give him another round of applause. Representative James, that was clearly very inspirational message to our graduates, but also to all of us. As a fellow Southernite, let me simply say that you make us proud. You make us proud. Let's give him another round of applause. And Ted, if you could join me for a moment, and I'm going to accept my board member to join me as well. We'd just like to offer you this small token of our appreciation in light of you giving indication of your willingness to serve as our keynote speaker. As you're aware, the class of 2020 were unable to participate in their commencement exercise due to the COVID pandemic. And yet we were able to celebrate with them virtually. However, today we are also honoring them and their achievements as some of our most recent graduates. So if you will the class of 2020 participate in today's commencement exercise please stand? I shall call upon Joyce Sahu, Executive Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs and Provost, to present the degree candidates. Sahu.
Mr. President, Chancellor, each of the 2020 graduates participating in today's commencement ceremony have been certified by their deans, colleges, and schools to have satisfied all the respective requirements. And on behalf of the faculty of Southern University, it is my distinct pleasure to present them to you for conferral of their degrees. Thank you.
With the authority vested in me by the Southern University Board of Supervisors, I confer upon each of you the appropriate degree with all of the rights and privileges appertaining thereunto. Congratulations again.
Thank you. Mr. President, Chancellor, for the purpose of calling the candidates for degrees, I now have the high privilege to present Dr. Robert Rene from the Office of the SU Board of Supervisors.
Thank you, Dr. Sutherland. Will the class of 2020 please come forward? Loretta Walker Spruill. Erica Joseph. Pierius Piggy. Kelly England. Jade Lewis. Raul Rankuta Saya. Nadik Amaluna. Belina Stalin. Roshni Kalori. Tanisha Poston. Brittany Simon. Asia Rice. Asia Sias. Joe Peter Julian. Samantha Green. Jerica Lathers. Latoya Self. Fairland Francis. Tyler Holmes. Jalen Fair. Deja Lodry. Asia Laverne. Lamara Cobb. Nia Anderson. Brianna Pratt. Tamara Thompson. Chandler Branch.
Taylor Merritt. Jordan Anderson. Mia McKee. Deasia Wright. Mikhail Jones. Naya Robinson. Amber Crenshaw. Veneria Green. Tyler Franklin. Christopher McKinney. Terrence McCray. Jaconetta Harness. DeMichael Robertson. Kayla Holiday. Kwame Atina. Anna Kidd. Gregory Jackson. Asante Wheatley. Pooja Johnson. Julia Brown. Lauren Edwards. Christy Armstrong. Graduates, you may be seated. We will now award the professional, graduate, advanced, and baccalaureate degrees. And I shall ask Dr. Bajoy Sahu to present the degree candidates.
Mr. President, Chancellor, we have reached the highlight of this commencement convocation, the awarding of the 2021 earned degrees. I'm delighted to present to you the candidates from the respective colleges and schools.
Will the candidates for the doctoral degrees please stand?
Mr. President, Chancellor, the eligible candidates for the doctoral degrees have been certified by the deans, colleges, and schools to have satisfied all of the respective requirements. And on behalf of the faculty at Southern University, it is my pleasure to present them to you for the conferral of their degrees.
With the authority vested in me by the Southern University Board of Supervisors, I confer on you the appropriate degree with all of the rights and privileges appertaining thereunto. Congratulations. Will the candidate for the doctoral degree please come forward? Don Ventress Kite of Baker, Louisiana. Dissertation, a study of information literacy instruction and its impact on STEM students at HBCU. Major Professor Dr. Nastasia Jones. What an achievement. Will the candidates for the master's degrees please stand?
Mr. President, Chancellor, the eligible candidates for master's degrees have been certified by their deans, colleges, and schools to have satisfied all of their respective requirements. And thus, on behalf of the faculty of Southern University, it is my pleasure to present them to you for the conferral of their degrees.
With the authority vested in me by the Southern University Board of Supervisors, I confer on each of you the appropriate degree with all of the rights and privileges appertaining thereunto. Again, congratulations to you all. Will the candidates for the master's degree please come forward to receive your diplomas? Regina Dominique. Renita Dillon. Nelvin Beasley. Wilner Elise Jr. Jasmine Singleton. John West. Darrell Griffin. Bradley Derwin. India Price. Lavelle Walker. Oziyama Wakatu. Gabrielle Williams. Janine Broomfield. Brittany Hunter. Whitney Plummer. Jocelyn Harris. Brianna Marie Jarrell. Adora Adger. Haja Hamilton. Odera Nathaniel. Students with a master's degree, you may be seated. Executive Vice Chancellor Saho, are you prepared to introduce the Chief Student Marshal for the summer 2021 commencement exercise?
Yes, Mr. President Chancellor. Would the summer 2021 Chief Student Marshal please come forward and remain standing until directed by the President Chancellor. Congratulations. Mr. President Chancellor, I now present to you the summer 2021 Chief Student Marshal. Ladies and gentlemen, our 2021 summer commencement Chief Student Marshal is Ms. Ella Dodor. Ms. Dodor is a 21-year-old native of Togo, West Africa. Her parents are Alberta and Kofi Dodor. She has one sibling, Melissa Dodor. Ella is a 2017 graduate of Broadmoor Senior High School. She is receiving a Bachelor's of Science in Computer Science with a cumulative GPA of 3.862. Ella says she decided to pursue computer science because she has a very inquisitive mind and is always looking for stimulating new approaches to problem solving. She says computer science equipped her with the tools needed to solve problems while allowing her to be creative. Her decision to attend Southern University was based on its historical background, its proximity to her residence, and the cost of tuition. Her parents, friends, and countless professors challenged her to do better and motivated her on her journey. Some academic and personal achievements of Ella include being a top JAG, being a Dolores Margaret Richard Spikes Honors College Scholar, being a LS Lamp program participant, obtaining membership in the Beta Kappa Chi Scientific Society, membership in the National Institute of Science, being a member of the C100 Black Women of Southern University, and being a member of the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Ella has experience being an integration, Ella has experience being an integration engineer intern at Ericsson, as well as being a GEM data intern at Hess Corporation. Her most memorable experience at Southern University was participating in high school and STEM day as a volunteer. Her future is looking bright. She has been accepted into a PhD program in software engineering at the University of California at Irvine. Her advice to other students is to remember, first impressions are everything. Get involved and use all the resources that are at your disposal during your time at Southern University, and do not forget to leave your mark. Ella says she is honored to serve as Chief Student Marshal and hopes this accomplishment inspires future students. She quotes Mae West, "You only live once, but if you do it right, once is enough." It is with great pleasure and honor that I present to you our summer 2021 Chief Student Marshal, Ms. Ella Dodor. Congratulations.
Ms. Dodo, as Chief Student Marshal, please come forward to the platform to receive your degree. Vice Chancellor Sahu, will you please present to me the candidates for the bachelor's degree?
Thank you, Mr. President Chancellor. Mr. President Chancellor, these candidates have been certified by their deans, colleges, and schools to have satisfied all their respective requirements. And thus, on behalf of the faculty of Southern University, it is my pleasure to present them to you for the conferral of their degrees.
All of the bachelor candidates, would you please stand? With the authority vested in me by the Southern University Board of Supervisors, I confer upon each of you the appropriate degree with all of the rights and privileges appertaining thereunto. Congratulations. You may now turn your tassels. Let's give them a round of applause. Candidates, you may now be seated.
Mr. President Chancellor, I now have the high privilege to call the graduates from the respective colleges and schools forward to receive their diplomas. Students graduating from the Dolores Margaret Richard Spikes Honors College in the respective curricula are wearing the traditional honors blue, college blue, gold ceremonial ribbon and medallion. These students have distinguished themselves by their grade point averages, a minimum of 3.2 honors credit hours of study, and completion and defense of a senior thesis. Thesis titles are printed in the graduation program. Mr. President Chancellor, for the purpose of calling the candidates for bachelor degrees, I now present to you Dr. Robert Rene.
Thank you, Vice Chancellor. Will the candidates for bachelor's degrees please come forward to receive your diplomas as your college is being called?
Will the candidates for bachelor's degrees from the College of Agricultural, Family and Consumer Sciences please stand?
Lexus Atkins.
Will the candidates for the bachelor's degrees from the College of Business please stand?
In the College of Business, please come forward. Charisma Gray. Melissa Harrington. Elena Zouaye. Veda Colbert. Terrence Dunn Jr. Patricia Foster. Jasmine Johnson. Brandon Jones. Zaterica Lightfoot. Elijah McGee. Rashad Muhammad. Aaron Thomas. Philip Thomas. Graduates, you may be seated.
Will the candidates for the bachelor's degrees from the College of Humanities and Interdisciplinary Studies please stand and come forward?
Olivia Brock. Brittany Payne. Nakai Shani Gardner. Diamond Butler. Marcus Haney. Candidates, you may be seated.
Now, will the candidates for the bachelor's degrees from the College of Nursing and Allied Health please stand and come forward?
Will the candidates from the School of Nursing and Allied Health please come forward? Braylon Fisher. Sedarius Solitaire. Kristen Toulouse. Tanisha McMurray. Daisha Davis. Paige Olay. Marissa Payton. Glendon McDaniel. Graduate, you may be seated.
Will the candidates for the bachelor's degree from the College of Sciences and Engineering please stand?
College of Science and Engineering, please come forward. Javante Woodson. Tamia Davis.
Bryisha Terrell. William Miles. Kayla Rayford. Graduates, you may be seated.
Will the candidates for the bachelor's degree from the Nelson Mandela College of Government and Social Sciences please stand?
And you may come forward from the Nelson Mandela School. Jeffrey Wagner. Byron Hall. Alexandra Green. Michael Floyd. Dylan Dejon. Kevin Muse. Veronica Williams. Danteriana Pierre. Justice Williams. Tadadrian Wilford. Jakiah Jones. Markel Thomas. Daryl Carter. Keyshawn Acker. Montravian Harrison. Adrian Lewis. Alicia Thomas. Alexis Gray. Latoya Harvey. Allah Abdurrahman. Graduates, you may be seated.
Mr. President, Chancellor, I'll kindly allow a slight modification to the program. Our registrar, Mrs. Diana Gilbert Depron is also a graduate today of the Master's Program in Public Administration. Would you kindly allow her to receive her degree?
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the 2021 graduating class of Southern University and A&M College. Let's give them a round of applause. I think we could do better than that. Let's give them a round of applause at Southern University College. Today, today has clearly been well spent, and our time, I think, has been rather pointed. I nonetheless would like to again acknowledge the members of the Southern University Board of Supervisors for their unselfish commitment to the university. And again, present our SGA president for the work that he do in shaping and advocating for the interests of the students at Southern University and A&M College. Would you please give him another round of applause? I think it's also appropriate to acknowledge those individuals who do so much in carrying out and advancing the mission of our institution. And it starts with our faculty. And I certainly would want to acknowledge our faculty senate president and all those members of the faculty who are here. If you are here, would you please stand and allow us all to offer you a presentation that you most dearly deserve. All those members of the faculty who are with us today. Would you join me in acknowledging them? I have the pleasure of working with a cadre of faculty and staff who bring great dedication and commitment to what they're doing. And I'd like to acknowledge at this point the deans that represent the leadership of our respective colleges. Would you please stand? Let's give them a round of applause as well. And that includes the vice chancellors who are on the ground working every day. Would you please stand? The vice presidents who do so much in trying to bring about the synergy across the Southern University system. Would you stand? And clearly, I'd like to recognize our chief of staff for her diligence in bringing about the cohesiveness that makes up the Southern University system. Would you please stand? I won't belabor the moment with a long speech because I think, again, I think our speaker did a wonderful job of providing for us inspirational message that will be long remembered. One of the things that he said that he offered in his presentation was his experience while at Southern University. And it is indeed remnant of what we expect of our faculty to really define you as students at Southern University such that when you leave, you are prepared to be competitive in this global marketplace. But along the way, and in keeping with your outcomes and in keeping with your accomplishments, you ultimately define Southern University. And I can tell you that Representative James is the epitome of a Southernite who defines Southern University in a way where people respect it. And I think that is the challenge for all of you going forward, is to shape your path, but in so doing, defining our institution by way of your work. So again, I just want to say to you how much I appreciate the opportunity that you bestowed upon us to influence and contribute to your development. And I would offer my sincere and heartfelt congratulations to you at this time. And certainly, I think it appropriate then to ask our director of the Southern University Alumni Affairs and executive director of the Southern University Alumni Federation, Dr. Derek Warren, to come forth to administer the oath for the induction into the National Alumni Federation. Would you come forth at this time?
Thank you, Dr. Belton. Good morning again, and congratulations to the fantastic class of 2020 and 2021. Let's give them another round of applause. Joining me today is the illustrious president of the Southern University Alumni Federation, Madam Laquita Thomas. Madam Thomas, please come forward. She is the first female president of our 77-plus-year-old organization. Let's give her a round of applause. And now, graduates, please stand. I will also ask that all alumni of the Southern University system please stand at this time as well. And by alumni, if you made it through registration one semester, you should be standing and joining us as we administer the pledge. That should be almost everybody in here, I think. So, now raise your right hand and repeat after me very loudly. I, and state your name. An alumnus of Southern University, do hereby pledge allegiance to the Southern University Alumni Federation and the great honored institution which it represents. I promise to remain loyal, faithful, and steadfast in my support of its programs, uplift of its principles, maintenance of its tradition, and defense of its honor. I further promise to always stand ready to contribute my time, efforts, financial assistance, didn't hear you, financial assistance, still, it sounded a little faint, financial assistance and services toward the advancement of the welfare of the Southern University Alumni Federation and my beloved alma mater. So help me God. Congratulations, graduates.
At this time, we will sing our alma mater, and I would ask that you remain standing for the benediction that will be given by Reverend Robertson. Afterwards, please be seated until the conclusion of the recession.
Greetings again, and I'd hope that you would indulge me by please repeating these words after me. God, give the Southern University and agricultural and mechanical and the Southern University system a heart for our community and this community of faith. Let us see the future in these, your leaders, with your eyes. Teach us to love, share, and reach back into the community and provide assistance. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. The church, amen. God bless you, and congratulations, graduates of 2021.
When I saw you trying to get up there, like,
You're gonna leave this for Davidson, and then you go what, bring some screens in from next week.
Monday.